Amendment Bill, and applaud my colleagues, the Honourable David Carter, Minister for Agriculture, bringing this bill to the House in support of the initiative of Simon Bridges, the excellent Member of Parliament for Tauranga, an outstanding young man who has a fantastic future ahead of him. And can I say that this bill, look at that, this bill has been roundly applauded throughout New Zealand. And I'd just like to mention some of those key people that have supported this bill. Director Bob Kerridge, and he said it is time to recognise that cruelty to animals is a social sickness that is as heinous as any act of violence inflicted on fellow humans, and the two are inextricably linked. And that's what Bob Kerridge said. And as everybody knows, he's the Auckland SPCA Executive Officer, and he's well known throughout New Zealand and represents many people throughout New Zealand. And the next person was David Jones QC, and he said that this bill, this would add to the effectiveness of animal welfare legislation and bring home to the public that animal cruelty is not acceptable. This is by no means an interim measure. And then the third key person that made a comment was Dr. Wayne Ricketts from the Veterinarians Association. And what did he say? Well, he said that this bill backs increasing the maximum penalty for the willful treatment of animals, and that light sentences send the wrong message to society about the responsibility of humans for the welfare of animals. And so this has been around, certainly around endorsement from a number of people, but there are many more people supporting those very same views. And it was also applauded by Robin Kippenberger, who is actually the SPCA Chief Executive. And she said that the move was long overdue, and especially as animal cruelty cases were increasing in number and in severity. And I just want to outline a couple of these. Now, they are very offensive incidents. And the last month an Aucklander was jailed, and this is not a very nice story, but I'm going to share it with you because this is the type of person that if he can do this to a kitten, you just have to wonder what level of cruelty he might inflict on those family and friends around him. And what he did was that he twisted the head of a kitten off in front of his young children, and what else did he do? And there was also the man that actually fed live kittens to his pit bull dog. And so there was also the 33 dogs that were shot in a very inhumane way. And there was also a dog that was found drowned in Tahi Bay with a 10-kilogram weight tied around its neck. Now, these are all heinous crimes against animals. These are serious cases of animal cruelty, and by increasing the sentence, you're sending a very, very clear message which should in turn help to deter people from acting in this way. Because while we've had all this huge support for the introduction of this bill, I have to say that the Greens and Labour had yet to find some dissatisfaction with the bill, because they said that there was no point in increasing the penalties for animal cruelty if no one was going to enforce them. Well, of course they're going to enforce them, but here they are saying there's no point in increasing them. Well, that's what they said, okay? And of course they are aware that there's extra funding going in, and there are people there to enforce them. If they are aware of what was going on, they would know that there are lawyers doing pro bono cases to bring animal cruelty cases to court for conviction. And I just applaud those lawyers that are doing that. I think it's a fantastic step in the right direction, and I understand that there are other lawyers looking to take up that same challenge of doing pro bono work for animal cruelty cases, so that people that are committing the offences that I've described, twisting the head of a kitten in front of children, that these people can be taken to court and be charged and convicted. And now, due to what's in this bill, the Animal Welfare Amendment Bill, receive the sentence that they rightly deserve to get, which is much more stringent than what used to be in place. This will send a very, very strong message. So what can I tell you now about the bill? Well, its purpose is to, as you're already aware, is to increase the actual sentence for these horrifying incidents. And it will cover willful treatment. It raises the penalties for animal cruelty and neglect offences and changes the way in which some offences are described. So we've got willful treatment, ill treatment rather, of animals, and that covers the most serious welfare offences. And under the Act as it stands, it must be proved that a person intended to cause harm and that the animal must be permanently disabled, die, or be destroyed to prevent further suffering. This bill actually expands the threshold for this offence to include cases where an animal is seriously injured or impaired, and this will enable more cases of extreme cruelty to be prosecuted under this offence. An animal is seriously injured or impaired if the injury or impairment involves prolonged pain and suffering, or is a substantial risk of death or loss of a body part, or permanent or prolonged loss of a bodily function occurs and requires treatment by or under the supervision of a veterinarian. And the maximum penalty for willful ill treatment of animals will increase to 5 years imprisonment. 5 years imprisonment. That's going to be the maximum penalty, 5 years imprisonment. Now that's not a deterrent to people inflicting cruelty upon animals, then I don't know what is. However, there is also a fine, and the maximum fine will double to $100,000 for an individual and $500,000 for a body corporate. So again, if that doesn't send a very strong message to people that we expect, New Zealand expect, good, caring, solid Kiwi New Zealanders who have animals in their care and look after them properly, we expect that others will do the same. They need to be cared for in a robust way, housed, fed, watered, and if you've got a dog, taken for walks, all of those sorts of things. Every animal requires different type of care, but we expect them to receive the optimum care that is available to them. So reckless ill treatment of animals is another category, and this bill creates a new offence of reckless ill treatment. So this is new. This new offence will apply where it can be proved that a person knew or appreciated that serious harm to an animal could occur and unreasonably ran the risk. It would be expected that cases will be prosecuted under this new offence when they would otherwise fail to meet the threshold for willful ill treatment. And until now, there has been no choice but to prosecute these cases on a lesser ill treatment charge, resulting in inappropriate sentencing and the wrong message being sent to offenders that animal welfare offending is not serious. And that's a great thing about this bill. We are sending a very clear message, and that has been roundly endorsed throughout New Zealand. And the penalties for this offence will be a maximum of 3 years imprisonment and fines of up to $75,000 for an individual or $350,000 for a body corporate may be imposed. So there are other offences. There's disqualification of a person from having custody of animals and forfeiture of animals, and those are some of the key points of this bill. You know, most New Zealanders actually expect people to care for those animals that are in their charge. They want them to be healthy, comfortable, properly fed, and they have a reasonable standard of care and humane treatment, and that they are not to suffer unnecessarily. This bill goes in is a great step forward, is not an interim measure, will provide outcomes and will act as a strong deterrent to anyone ill-treating animals.